How are you? My name is Michelle Connor. I'm your VCS for Living Environment. Today we're going to be looking at drafting the species survival plans for the unit. So if you are unfamiliar with the lessons, just so you know, the first slide down through the gray slides, these are for your lesson planning. It has notes, modifications, guidance on instructions, supports for your L's, supports for your students with disabilities. So there's a lot of information. Before you give the lesson to your students, you want to make sure you go ahead and delete these out. The purple heading is our question for today. The pink heading is the objective. The yellow is the instructional model. Green is independent work. The orange is your check for understanding. And the blue is your wrap-up. Anywhere you see a blue box, like this one, is where you can type in. And anytime, so here's a blue box, you can type in it. And anytime you see a blue hyperlink, you can get to something else. So today we're going to be looking at the survival plans. So your students are going to go ahead and pick a species for their survival plan. And they're endangered species. Now, they can technically choose any one of them. I may let my higher functioning students choose their own, but just know they need to find their own resources. The resources that are provided kind of gives them all the information they'll need. So if you click on the hyperlink, it opens here. It's literally so much information, anything they need to answer any of their questions. There's multiple articles, information, everything that they need. I almost would kind of explain to my students that it's best to choose one from these four. But again, if you have students that are really passionate about going somewhere else with this, and you know if they could find the information, then go ahead. So they're gonna organize the information. We're looking at, so each part of this kind of performance assessment we kind of talked about throughout the unit. So if we go ahead and open the performance task, there's a little bit of pre-writing. There will be a peer review for the next day after the draft is done. Students can work in groups or on their own. We talked about how to create a food web already. So if you need to go back to that lesson, go ahead and go back to how to create a food web digitally. And the other information they kind of learn through each of the lessons. So after that, we look at the actual survival plan, which is here. And here's where the students are looking at the threats and actions that humans can take. If they want to go ahead, they can, this is a picture. So they can either go ahead and just kind of look at this document, or after you make a copy of it, so I'll show you if I'll make a copy. Then we can start using some of the editing features. So this we already looked at. So if we go down to that survival plan, here we go. We can scroll. Here we go. So if you double click it, you can go ahead and it's a drawing, and then you're going to actually be able to type in the boxes. If you're just on the original, you're not going to be able to do anything with it. It just looks like one picture. So you want to make sure you make a copy, and then once you're in, you can go ahead and click in the boxes and actually be able to type in them. So that's something that's really important, that you give your students a copy of this so they could actually type on it. Same thing. And then they can create their draft here as well. So if you go back into the index packet, anything that they'll need will be here. So just for an example, there's data on coral populations. They'll be able to look at some data and kind of like decipher different information from it. There's different text, background information, and additional resources here. So the students can kind of like file through the information and figure out what's kind of like best for their species. So remember, they're going to be writing a narrative about 3 possible actions that could be led to the survival of a specific keystone species that's under threat. So they're going to use evidence from the text. It's really important that you have them source their information where they're getting it from. And these kind of walkthroughs help them figure out what's the action and then what's the possible outcome. Then they're going to use these to actually draft their narrative on the 3 things that can be done to help save them. And then after this is done, there will be a peer review and a final hand-in. So this is just a draft, and it's really good to be using this information. And remember, if we double-click into our copy, the students can go ahead and actually use these different shapes to help them kind of think about the flow of information and the flow of like cause and effect.